they didn't want to fly me private. I wanted to go private. It's politics. So, you know. But I've learned from that from now, and I would do something different now.
Relationship advice.
Treat the person how you want to be treated.
Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
Martin Lawrence was once sitting at the top, the undisputed king of comedy who kept everyone rolling with laughter. But behind all those punchlines and big movie checks, insiders say he was quietly falling apart.
Martin Lawrence had a stroke. You can look at his mouth until he had a stroke. Anybody that deny he didn't have a stroke or don't believe he had a stroke, well, okay.
Remember when he was spotted wandering the streets of LA shouting, "They're trying to kill me"? That moment wasn't just wild. It was a cry for help.
That a guy that tough will be on the street waving a gun, screaming, "They are trying to kill me." Yeah. What's going on?
And then there were the on-set problems that insiders claim shut down the Martin show for good.
No.
Martin has had a stroke. When I saw him walk out there the other day, I think they were in Australia. I swear to God, he looked like Joe Biden.
People either brushed it off or kept it hush-hush. But was it just a breakdown, or was there something way deeper going on? Now, with new talk about his health and a string of strange public moments over the years, folks are finally asking what was really going on with Martin this whole time. We all knew Martin as the loudmouth jokester with zero filter who ruled the 90s, whether it was his classic sitcom Martin, his blockbuster running Bad Boys, or his wild stand-up that had crowds cracking up. Martin was the culture, but behind the laughs, something serious was brewing, and barely anybody noticed. From TV show shutdowns to run-ins with the law and battles with his own mind, Martin faced a whole lot more than folks knew. But way before the red carpets and sold-out arenas, he was living a totally different kind of life. And now, he's speaking up about those who tried to drag him down and stop him from ever shining in the first place.
Weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you.
In the game, just like Richard Pryor ruled the 70s and Eddie Murphy ran the 80s. The 90s? That was Martin Lawrence's era, no question. His come-up started with a bang when he hit the big screen in Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. But the real glow-up, that came with his breakout role in House Party, and then he brought even more heat in the sequel House Party 2. The Pajama Jam. Martin was on fire, and Hollywood couldn't ignore him. Then came Boomerang, an underrated Eddie Murphy flick where Martin stole scenes and made sure everybody remembered his name. But he wasn't just killing it in movies. On July 1st, 1992, he hit another major level, stepping onto the stage as the host of HBO's Def Comedy Jam. That moment, game-changing. It showed the world that Martin wasn't just funny, he was undeniable. And just a month later, boom, his very own primetime sitcom, Martin, dropped. The show was an instant smash, pulling in over 11 million viewers during its first season. It didn't just break records, it made history. That show became a cultural landmark and solidified Martin as a true TV legend. Watching him juggle all those moves at once, that grind was real, just like how we see Kevin Hart hustling today. By 1994, Martin hit another level when he got invited to host Saturday Night Live. That should have been a victory lap, but instead, it became a curveball no one saw coming.
Yeah, man, oh man, look at all these white people. No, I mean, I guess this ain't the Def Jam, right? So I guess I better be cool, huh? I got some black folks out there to back me up.
His monologue that night stirred up so much controversy. It got him banned from ever returning to the show. Wild, right? Even Chris Rock once said that Martin was the kind of opener who'd crush so hard, you'd think twice before going on after him. Chris Rock once said, at every show, some opener would try to make noise, but once I hit the stage, folks forgot all about him. But then came one night in Chicago, and that opener was none other than a young Martin Lawrence. And this time, the crowd didn't forget. Back in the 90s, Martin's stand-up was straight fire, like watching the 2016 Golden State Warriors light it up from every corner of the court. Week after week on Def Comedy Jam, he brought a wild, raw, and totally unfiltered energy that had crowds screaming, "Go Martin!" before he even opened his mouth. That man had presence. But that in-your-face style, it wasn't for everyone. When Martin dropped his first stand-up concert film, You So Crazy, in 1994, it was so raw, it got hit with an NC-17 rating right off the bat.
So one day, in them 3 months, your girl comes by. And they ain't hung out with you in a while. Girl, where you been? We ain't hung out with you. I mean, what's up? Would you hang out with us? I mean, who is this guy?
That label was a major problem. It could have killed the whole release. The original distributor didn't even want to deal with the heat and ended up passing the film to another company, which dropped it as unrated just to dodge the drama. That move said it all. Martin was officially too hot for Hollywood. But that was only the start of his fight with censors. That same year, Martin landed the dream gig every comic wants, hosting Saturday Night Live. But instead of it being a win, it backfired hard. He went off during his monologue saying some wild jokes that NBC thought were way out of line for live TV, and just like that, banned for life from the show. What should have been a career highlight turned into a controversy that haunted him for years.
You are fired up. What's up? They thought I wasn't coming back. Don't sit there and try to look cool.
All because of one chaotic rant about female hygiene that had execs scrambling. Martin tried to joke about the importance of staying clean, but things spiraled fast. What was supposed to be funny took a wild, raunchy turn that flew way past what network TV was ready for. NBC wasn't playing around. They cut that monologue out of every future re-airing and hit Martin with a lifetime ban from Saturday Night Live.
You got some beautiful women, but you got some out there that, I gotta say something. Some of you are not washing your properly.
No second chances. Every time that episode came back on, his opening monologue was wiped clean. NBC made their stance loud and clear. They wanted no ties to what he said that night. And as the years went on, his absence from SNL became hard to ignore, especially during that big Eddie Murphy reunion episode where comedy legends showed up. But Martin, nowhere in sight. The controversy stuck around, but Martin never backed down. Reflecting on it later, he stood firm in his comedy. He said, "If I don't know anything else, I know what it takes to make a person laugh. People have to have the right to laugh, or else you're gonna have a lot more of us going crazy." He wasn't just defending jokes. He was defending the whole idea of comedy as therapy. Martin believed the jokes worked if people could get past the raw language and just enjoy the ride. "I'm gonna help keep you mentally healthy," he said. He even claimed that during rehearsal, he delivered that same monologue and nobody had a problem with it. But NBC told a whole different story. According to the network, Martin flipped the script live on air, tossing in lines that hadn't been cleared. And after that East Coast airing, they got flooded with nearly 200 complaints. That's when they stepped in and edited the broadcast big time. Still, in a 1994 interview with the LA Times, just 2 weeks after the chaos, Martin made one thing clear. He wasn't holding any grudges against NBC.
They didn't want to fly me private. I wanted to go private. It's politics. So, you know. But I've learned from that from now, and I would do something different.
No beef, just jokes that went too far, depending on who you ask. In 1996, everything took a wild turn. Out of nowhere, Martin Lawrence was spotted on the streets of LA, fully dressed in heavy clothes, in the middle of a hot summer day, shouting and flailing his arms, screaming, "They're trying to get me!" The scene was straight up shocking and disturbing and confusing for fans everywhere. The media tried to chalk it up as just a mental breakdown. Stress, exhaustion, the usual spin, but some folks, especially in conspiracy circles, weren't buying that story. People kept asking who was after him, what was he running from? To this day, Martin's never broken down what really happened, and the industry stayed suspiciously quiet. Not a single big name stepped up to check on him publicly. Instead, the headlines shifted to rumors of wild behavior, canceled gigs, and serious tension brewing behind the scenes of Martin, his own hit show. And here's where it got real messy. At the end of the Martin show wasn't just about ratings or creative changes like networks love to say. The truth, it got dark behind the scenes. Tisha Campbell, who played Gina and was rumored to be more than just a co-star, filed a lawsuit against Martin. She accused him of repeated harassment that kept getting worse. Things got so bad, she straight up stopped filming scenes with him for a while. The network scrambled, trying to patch things up with a few final episodes, but the magic was gone. The vibe on set straight up cold. The cast was split, fans felt the tension, and the word was out, Martin was spiraling. By 1997, it exploded into public view when Tisha filed a serious lawsuit. She claimed Martin had yelled at her, acted aggressively, and even made inappropriate moves during bed scenes. She said he crossed the line, trying to create real intimacy during scenes that were supposed to stay professional. And it didn't stop there. Her accusations painted a picture of someone completely out of control, and Hollywood couldn't look away. By the time Martin Lawrence had his public meltdown in 1996, some folks weren't even shocked anymore. That year, he was arrested after being found wandering through the streets of LA, yelling that someone was after him. One witness described the chaos saying he was shouting, "Fight! Don't give up! Fight the power!" or something wild like that. It wasn't just loud, he was screaming obscenities, swinging his arms, and putting up a fight while cops tried to get him under control. He looked like a madman, the witness added. I was like, that's Martin Lawrence? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. His rage was apparently getting harder to control. One report claimed Martin once kicked through a marble wall near Tisha Campbell's hotel room. That's how intense things had gotten. So when Tisha's harassment lawsuit hit the headlines, it was like adding gasoline to an already burning fire. Martin clapped back quick, denying everything. He didn't just reject her claims, he said he believed he was being pulled into her larger drama with HBO. In a public statement, he said, Martin has long been Tisha's champion and protector and is thus deeply hurt by these allegations. There is no merit to the lawsuit, and it will be vigorously defended. But just 4 months later, the case was quietly settled, and Tisha returned to wrap up the final 2 episodes of the show in April 1997. But the behind-the-scenes arrangement, it was straight up bizarre. Martin wasn't allowed anywhere near her while filming. For that last 1-hour finale, the crew had to pull off editing tricks just to make it look like they were together, when they actually filmed completely separate scenes. The tension must have been unreal. And if even a fraction of Tisha's claims were true, it's hard to imagine how heavy that set felt, especially for her.
So, Biggie, how your auditions coming?
Why you want to know, Jenny? You are not auditioning?
No, I'm not. I did not say that. No, I was just making conversation.
The cast of Martin was a big reason why the show became a straight-up classic. Their chemistry was electric. The laughs, the energy, the way they bounced off each other made the show unforgettable. But while things looked smooth on screen, behind the scenes, it was a whole different story. Even though fans praised the cast's tight bond, whispers started coming out about drama, and most of it pointed toward Martin Lawrence. He wasn't just the lead actor, he was also the heart and muscle behind the show. But that control, it came with pressure, and apparently a whole lot of tension.
I was in a whole nother space, you know what I mean? I always wish the best for people and hope that they grow and I don't wish nothing bad on nobody, you know what I mean?
Carl Anthony Payne, the dude who played Cole Brown, the goofy, lovable sidekick everyone adored, opened up years later in a 2015 interview with ThisIs50.com, and he didn't hold back. He said that in the beginning, everything felt cool. No beef, no problems. He and Martin got along just fine, and the vibe on set was chill. But then things started to shift. According to Carl, Martin's attitude changed, and not in a good way. He said Martin began treating him differently and not with respect. That switch-up created real tension on set and turned what used to be a fun, creative space into something uncomfortable and heavy.
It's like a relationship, right? So imagine if you were in a relationship that ended badly with somebody. That was then, right? And now, if that person is still around.
Carl explained it like this. We had issues. Martin had issues with himself, really. I think he was battling his own demons. That line right there, it said a lot. Whatever Martin was dealing with internally didn't just stay inside. It spilled out and hit everyone around him, and sadly, the struggles didn't end there. Garrett Morris, a seasoned actor with real Hollywood stripes, became a fan favorite on Martin for his hilarious role. So when he suddenly vanished after season 2, fans were caught off guard. His character was beloved, and just like that, he was gone from the regular cast.
Garrett Morris talking to all you white Americans about the way black people have been treated in America. Now I know a lot of you feel guilty, and you should.
People were asking, what happened? Turns out, Garrett didn't just leave on his own. He later revealed he was fired. And it wasn't some behind-the-scenes mystery. He said the decision came straight from the top.
Producing Martin decided to fire me.
Person who was producing Martin Lawrence, decided to fire me, Morris admitted. Just like that, one of the show's most respected actors was out, with no clear explanation at the time. Now, let's be real. It never seemed like Martin was out here trying to hurt people. But the weight he was carrying, that's a whole different story. The pressure, the spotlight, and the chaos of fame seemed to take a serious toll on his mental health. Comedian Dave Chappelle even spoke out about Martin's situation, pointing out how the entertainment world can chew people up behind closed doors while the cameras keep rolling.
Martin Lawrence is the guy that showed everybody you can make it from DC to Hollywood. And I had a personal stake in his success every time he did something.
And then came another scary moment. Not long after the infamous street incident where Martin was found yelling and panicking in heavy clothes, things got even worse. He collapsed while jogging in extreme heat, again dressed in layers, and ended up in a 3-day coma. The official word was heat exhaustion. But fans and skeptics had questions. Why the layers? Why run like that in blazing weather? Was he paranoid, being watched, silenced? Whatever the reason, Martin's health was in a serious state. Reports said he was battling deep depression and physical weakness during that time. By August 1999, it had reached a breaking point when he collapsed and slipped into that coma. It was a wake-up call. Something was really wrong, and Hollywood couldn't hide it anymore. This all went down while Martin was gearing up for his role in Big Mama's house. He was reportedly wearing layers of heavy clothing, including a plastic suit, to prep for the role when he collapsed. His condition got so serious, doctors had to rush him to the hospital, and he ended up on a ventilator. His body temp was off the charts. It wasn't just heat exhaustion, it was life-threatening. Fans stayed loyal through it all. Some blamed the intense grind of Hollywood. Others said it was just too much stress, too fast. But then there were the conspiracy whispers. The ones claiming Martin was being silenced. Was he starting to speak out about things he wasn't supposed to? Was that breakdown more than just mental strain? Was it a warning sign that something darker was going on? Jump to recent years, and Martin's back in Bad Boys sequels, reunion specials, and red carpets. But something's different. Fans have noticed it too. The energy isn't quite the same. He's been seen slurring his words, moving slower, and looking less focused than before. That spark, that fire, it's dimmed. And people are asking, is this the aftershock of everything he went through? While some folks in his circle keep quiet, others, like Will Smith, stay upbeat and say everything's cool. But the shift in Martin's vibe is hard to miss. And just when things seem to be picking up again, rumors hit the streets. Martin wasn't coming back for Bad Boys 4. Even with all the buzz, he was allegedly telling close friends he was done making movies with Will. For good. Why? Word is Martin had seen and learned things behind the scenes that changed everything for him. Some say it was about the industry. Others think it was something personal involving Will. Either way, the theory floating around is wild, that Martin knows way more than he's ever said about secrets and scandals tied to the elite side of Hollywood. That's why fans started noticing something strange. Martin and Will weren't kicking it like they used to. No hangouts, no press runs side by side, none of that classic brotherhood energy. People started wondering, did Martin see something? Some believed he got a front row seat to how the Hollywood machine really works, where scandals get spun to control the public, reputations get wiped out overnight, and loyalty don't mean a thing when the cameras stop rolling. Others thought Will might have gotten tangled up with the wrong crowd, too deep, too connected. And Martin had been backing away for a minute, keeping his image clean and his hands far from the mess.
But I told him I love him because I meant it. And now you see why we've been married 30 years.
The duo that gave us the legendary Bad Boys trilogy, it looked like they slammed the brakes hard. And it wasn't about scheduling like the studios wanted people to believe. Whispers started swirling. Martin wasn't just unavailable, he was done. He'd stepped back from Will completely. And now that more and more dirt has started leaking from behind Hollywood's velvet curtain, fans are connecting the dots. Insiders have claimed Martin grew sick of the industry's dark side, the fake smiles, the hidden agendas, the blackmail, the politics. Some wild allegations even suggest that major players in the game have been moving shady for years. And Will, some say he might have been closer to that world than people realized. Then came the Oscar slap. Boom. The whole internet exploded. Some folks saw it as a meltdown, others as a cry for help. But what if it wasn't either? What if that moment was just one piece of a much bigger puzzle? A pattern that Martin saw years ago and said, nah, I'm out. Let's be real. Hollywood's track record with loyalty, trash. People flip quick when things start getting ugly. And now there's a theory going around that Martin's silence isn't just distance, it's protection.
Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
That he knows way more than he's saying. And that's exactly why we haven't seen them together. They're not hanging out like before, and fans are noticing. Some say Martin saw the game for what it really is, how scandals get used to twist the truth, control the narrative, and wreck reputations. Others believe Will got caught up with the wrong people, and Martin, he's been quietly sliding away from the mess, trying to protect himself from whatever storm is brewing behind the scenes.
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do when they come for you?
So why isn't anybody talking about it? Because that's how Hollywood operates, with smoke and mirrors. As long as Martin was making folks laugh, nobody stopped to ask, is he okay? That's the scary part. For years, he's been dealing with all kinds of chaos, and the world just labeled it another celebrity meltdown and kept it moving. But when you line up the bizarre street incidents, the lawsuits, the coma, the behind-the-scenes drama, and now the distance from Will, it's not just a coincidence, it's a pattern, something deeper, something hidden. The truth is, Hollywood's got layers, and Martin's story might be way bigger than anybody thought. The real question now, what does Martin Lawrence know? Whatever it is, it's enough to keep him silent, enough to make him walk away from the spotlight and from people he once called friends. Maybe it's fear, maybe it's self-preservation. But one thing's clear, Bad Boys might really be finished. Who tried to shut him up? Who wanted control? What's been going on that we still don't know? Martin wasn't just facing fame. He was battling a system way bigger than him. And now that the layers are starting to peel back, the question ain't just, what happened to Martin? It's, who else is next? Because in Hollywood, it's not about who you know, it's about what you know. And Martin, he just might know too much. If this story had you thinking, hit that like button, drop a comment below, share it with your people, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss what's really going on out here. We've got more deep dives coming your way. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you in the next one.